The man in the attic when we bought the house. It felt like a win. 4 bedrooms, quiet street, good schools for the boys. The kind of place that smelled like fresh paint and new beginnings. It had been sitting on the market longer than expected, the realtor said. Previous owner fell in hard times. Had to leave quickly. Didn't elaborate. I didn't ask. It was just me, my wife Lena, and our 2 sons, Caleb, 12, and Mason, 8. They ran through the empty halls on move-in day like it was a castle. The house had one odd feature: an attic access in the hallway ceiling. No pull-down ladder, just a square wooden hatch. The inspector mentioned it briefly. Probably unfinished storage space. I never bothered opening it. At first, everything was normal. Almost too normal. The boys complained about hearing scratching at night. I blamed squirrels. Lena said the house shifted more than our old one. Wood popping, air moving through vents. Old houses make noise. But the first thing that unsettled me wasn't a sound. It was food. Milk running out faster than usual. Bread disappearing. I blamed growing boys. Then Lena swore she hadn't used the last of the rice. I told her she probably forgot. Then I started forgetting things too. I'd set my keys down and find them in a different room. Tools missing from the garage. The back door unlocked in the morning. Sleep deprivation, I told myself. Until the night I woke up at 2:17 a.m. Exactly 2:17. Because I heard footsteps. Not creaks. Footsteps. Directly above our bedroom. Slow. Measured. Crossing the ceiling from one end to the other. I lay there frozen. Listening. They stopped right above my side of the bed. I didn't wake Lena. I didn't move. Eventually. Silence. The next morning, I finally dragged a ladder from the garage and pushed open the attic hatch. Dust. Insulation. Boxes left behind from the previous owner. Nothing else. No footprints. No signs of anyone. I almost laughed at myself. Almost. But the feeling didn't go away. It grew. I started working from home more. Sitting in the living room in silence. Listening. Sometimes I thought I heard breathing in the vents. Sometimes I smelled something metallic in the hallway, faint but there. Lena started looking at me differently. "You're not sleeping," she said. "You're pacing at night." I didn't remember pacing. That's when I bought the cameras. Small, discreet security cameras. I told Lena it was for peace of mind. For the boys, I installed one facing the hallway, one in the kitchen, one in the living room, and one pointed directly at the attic hatch. The first 2 nights after installing the cameras, nothing happened. I barely slept anyway. I kept the monitor on my nightstand, volume turned low, brightness dimmed. Every tiny creak felt amplified. On the 3rd night at 2:17 a.m., the attic camera flickered. Not motion detected, just interference. A brief distortion across the screen, like static passing through. I held my breath. The hatch didn't move, but something shifted in the darkness above it. Not clearly, just a change in shadow, like someone adjusting their weight. I stared until my eyes watered. Eventually, I convinced myself it was insulation settling. The next morning, Lena told me Caleb had been talking in his sleep. He kept saying someone was standing in his doorway, she said softly. Just staring. I forced a laugh. Kids have nightmares. But that night I checked the hallway footage from 2:17. There it was. The attic hatch opening. Slowly, carefully, a thin line of darkness widening in the ceiling. A hand emerged first. Pale, filthy fingernails. Then an arm. Then a man lowering himself silently to the floor. He didn't rush. He didn't hesitate. He moved like someone who had done this before. He walked down the hallway and stopped outside Caleb and Mason's room. He didn't go inside. He just stood there, watching, for 12 full minutes. Then he returned to the attic, closed the hatch. Gone. I checked the timestamp. That had happened an hour earlier. While I was awake, while I was in the same house. My hands trembled so badly, I dropped the monitor. I didn't wake Lena. I don't know why. Maybe I didn't want to make it real. Instead, I waited the next night. And the next. 2:17. Every time. Sometimes he walked to the kitchen. Sometimes he stood over the couch where Lena had fallen asleep watching TV. Once he entered our bedroom. He stood at my side of the bed, so close I could see the outline of him in the doorway on the camera. I kept my breathing steady, pretended to sleep, because something told me he already knew I knew. The metallic smell in the hallway grew stronger each night. The food disappeared faster. I stopped confronting anyone about it, stopped mentioning it at all. Lena started whispering on the phone to her sister about me. She thinks I'm losing it, I heard her say. Maybe I was, because I began noticing something worse. The footage was changing. There were small gaps in time. 5 minutes missing here, 10 minutes there. The attic camera would glitch right before 2:17. Then resume. Sometimes he wasn't just walking. Sometimes he was standing directly beneath the camera, looking up into it, smiling faintly. One night I stayed awake on purpose. No monitor, no lights, just me in the dark. At 2:16 the house felt different, heavier, like the air itself was holding its breath. 2:17. A soft click above the hallway. Then footsteps. Not cautious anymore. Confident. I heard him enter the boys' room. This time, there was no 12-minute wait. There was a sound. A quick one. Then another. Then silence. My body wouldn't move. I don't know why. I don't know if it was fear, or if some part of me understood it was already too late. Lena's scream came seconds later. Cut short. The hallway filled with that metallic smell. Thick, overpowering. The footsteps returned. Slow, measured. They stopped outside my bedroom door. I sat up. The door creaked open. He stood there, thinner than I imagined. Eyes sunken but alert. He didn't look angry. He didn't look wild. He looked at home. You weren't supposed to look, he said quietly. My throat burned. You've been living up there. He nodded once. This is my house. I grabbed the bat I'd hidden beside the bed. Swung. He stepped back easily. Like he knew I would. Like he'd practiced it in his mind. The fight didn't last long. I was tired. He was. As I lay on the bedroom floor, vision fading, I heard him moving calmly through the house. Not panicked. Not rushed. Just reorganizing. I sat there bleeding out, accepting my fate by morning. The house was quiet again. Very quiet. Weeks passed. The for sale sign eventually went up. Fresh paint covered the walls. New carpet replaced the old. The attic hatch was repaired, but not sealed. The listing photos showed bright rooms, natural light, a perfect family home. On move-in day, a new family of 4 carried boxes inside. The father laughed in the driveway. The mother admired the kitchen. 2 children ran through the halls like it was a castle. And that night at 2:17 a.m., the attic hatch opened. Slowly, carefully, because he had never left. He had simply waited. And this house was still his.